What is your price? Because if your price is not your life, then you are for sale. We're here with Roger Stone. Roger, pardon me not being dressed in a suit today, but you look incredible as always. Love the shoes. Talk to me about the 2026 election and where things stand.
Well, first of all, in American politics, particularly today, given the internet and mass media, a week is a lifetime. So anyone who tries to tell you definitively what's going to happen in an event that takes place more than a year away, they have no idea what it's talking about. And you don't know what the factors will be. You don't know what the economy will be like at that time. You don't know whether any of the Russian collusion criminals will be on their way to justice. You don't know whether we're going to have fair, honest elections, which would include electronic voting machines, which cannot be compromised. So there's a lot of questions here with which you would need the answers before you could answer the question. The most important of these, in my opinion, is twofold. You have the tax cuts, you have the regulatory cuts, you have the trade policies. You're going to get a much deeper interest rate cut from the Federal Reserve once we get a non-political Federal Reserve Board. So you're going to have the underpinnings for a successful election. But if the election is not honest, if the vote count is not fair and honest, it won't matter. So the president's laid the groundwork. The economy is already strong, but it's going to get stronger. Food prices are down, but they're not going down as low as they're going to go. Gas prices are coming down, as you know, very quickly. I think the stage is set for a great victory. I just refuse to give in to those who want to throw in the towel before we know enough about the factors surrounding that election.
Do you agree with the James Carville, that it's the economy stupid?
It's certainly the most important thing. People vote their pocketbook. Look, the president has been a great peacemaker. Do you think the American voters care about the war between Congo and Rwanda? Is that at the top of their minds as an issue? No. Foreign policy has very, very rarely decided our elections. Two exceptions, World War II and ultimately the Vietnam War, but only because it dragged on so long. So even though the president has an extraordinary record as a peacemaker, and I do think an end to the Russia-Ukraine conflict would be helpful, it's still the underlying economy. Grocery prices, gas prices, the availability and expense of housing.
The thing I think that people tell me, kind of the murmuring around here, is the grocery prices, is a big one.
Huge.
And I didn't see exactly what the president said, but I think if you were advising, would you say acknowledge it or talk more about that, or what's the solution to that situation?
I think it is good that he is now going out around the country, not just because he gets a chance to lay out his message, but also he gets to mix with more average, regular people and hear what they have to say. If you just look at a spreadsheet, the reductions are impressive, but people are not feeling them yet. And I think he has to hear that from consumers. He has to hear that from people.
Face to face.
Face to face. On the other hand, I'm confident that what worked for Reagan will work for Trump. It's just going to take a little more time. It's not instantaneous.
What do you make of, I think Erica Kirk endorsed, was it Vance, or made comments about J.D. Vance? What's your reaction to that?
This is the Republican Party. We don't dump sitting vice presidents. Reagan was a great president. George H.W. Bush, not so great. But we nominated him anyway. So J.D. Vance, I think, has been a very effective vice president, very loyal vice president. He's more than likely going to be our nominee if he chooses to run. I'm more interested in who our vice presidential nominee is, because that's the future of the party post-Vance.
Any ideas?
I don't want to mention any names, Tulsi Gabbard, but I think we need a woman on the ticket. I think that she's proven her mettle in the declassification of the Russian collusion documents, something CIA Director Radcliffe could have done during the first Trump term, but didn't. and now she has an important job of getting to the bottom of the security and the integrity of the voting machines. Those are the two hot button issues for Republican activists.
I saw when I went to the funeral in Arizona, Charlie Kirk's funeral, I saw Marco Rubio's speech, and I was actually impressed by it, by Rubio's speech. What's your reaction?
I like Marco Rubio a lot, but he tells me that he's not interested in being president or vice president. I think he's telling the truth. Remember, he went from the Florida State, from college and law school, to the Florida State Legislature, to the Speaker's office, directly to the U.S. Senate. He's never had an opportunity to make any money. I think two men on the ticket, candidly, just as a political handicapper, is a mistake. I take him at his word when he tells me he's really not interested in being a candidate for president. I believe he's committed to J.D. Vance. I think he's announced that. But I'm impressed with him. I think it's important that people realize that our efforts in Venezuela are not about regime change. They're about ending the deadly flow of both fentanyl and cocaine into the United States, which is coming from Venezuela, through Honduras, to our shores. Hundreds of millions of dollars worth of it. And that is the reason, that's the principal reason to take out Venezuela. Venezuela is not a country, that's not a government. This is a organized crime operation.
I was in the Pentagon press corps a few weeks ago, and I think Pete Hegseth seems like a pretty stand-up guy. Why do they hate him so much, from your perspective?
Well, I think it's because he has reversed the decline of our military. He's done away with the DEI policies. That's one strong reason. Also because he is trying to reform our military into being what it was supposed to be, a lethal fighting force with which to defend American interests. On top of that, he's very handsome. They probably think
they don't like that either. So you've been in politics, Roger Stone here, we're at AMFEST, for I don't know how many years now, but 40, 50 years. How many years have you been working in politics?
50 years.
50 years. And, I've been doing this journalism thing for about 20 years. But it seems like in the last 5 years, things have really changed. AI, Instagram, everything's, now Charlie's deceased, I'll ask you about that in a minute. Has that changed how you do political work and political analysis, or the truths remain the same?
No, but all you have to do, I think, is to take the same principles, the same guide rules, the same criteria, and just apply them to the new technology. So if you knew how to design a poster, you know how to design the splash page of an internet page. AI could be both a great tool, helps you do political research much faster. On the other hand, I do think there should be laws against impersonation. When I watched the January 6th committee hearings and I saw videos of me saying things I never said, mixing and matching audio with video that never even went together, and you put it through the most rudimentary AI detection software, and they're completely fraudulent. So I don't think you should be able to make a video or an audio pretending to be Barack Obama, or pretending to be Joe Biden, or pretending to be Donald Trump.
That would be a congressional law that they would have to do.
I think we need a law.
I think we need to consider that. That's something we need to talk about. Okay.
A law against impersonation.
Law against impersonation of AI videos. Last question here. Charlie Kirk, someone painted this. This is actually a photo of me and him 4 years ago. He's wearing the Never Surrender. Talk for a minute about your relationship with Charlie, how you met him, and thoughts in the 3 or 4 months since he was murdered.
I didn't know Charlie Kirk. You and I have this shared experience of the FBI storming our homes and seeking to arrest us. So the morning of January 25th, 2019, when 29 heavily armed FBI agents in full SWAT gear, wearing night goggles, and all brandishing M4 assault weapons, stormed my home and carted me off to be fingerprinted and mugshotted, and then took me to federal courthouse to be arraigned. I got home in the late afternoon. By the way, the claim that I had to be arrested in this way because I was a flight risk, well, why didn't they ask for any cash bail? I clearly wasn't a flight risk. But I got home, And my phone rang a couple times with a number I didn't recognize. And I normally don't answer those, but when they called back the third time, I answered it. It was Charlie Kirk. And Charlie Kirk said, I saw this, it's terrible. I want you to know that I'm with you, that I'm going to fight for you. I know you pled not guilty, I'm going to support you. You're probably going to get railroaded in DC. If you get railroaded, I'm going to be a public and private.
He called you?
Yes. I didn't even know him. We knew of each other, but I didn't know him. But then the most important things he said was, at this time, I know what you're going through is difficult. Put yourself in the hands of the Lord. Pray for delivery from these demons. I'm your friend. I will be here for you. He found me.
That must have been very touching to you.
It was. I'm deeply grateful to him because at a time when many other Republicans were backing away, not too sure, Charlie came forward, and he was an enormous comfort and help to me and my family. And after I was convicted in a Soviet-style show trial, he was the #1 advocate. He and Tucker Carlson.
He seemed to. I've heard this story many times. He seemed to pick people up when they're down, which is that not very common, is it?
No, it really isn't. In fact, the exact opposite is true. People abandon you. In fact, there's a direct proportion. You know this. The more you've done to help someone, the faster they are to abandon you.
Right. No good deed goes unpunished.
But not with Charlie Kirk.
Was there another gentleman in the 50-year span of your career who behaved that way that you can talk about?
Tucker Carlson.
Tucker Carlson did that as well.
Tucker Carlson was an outspoken public and private advocate. He eviscerated the outrageousness of my unconstitutional trial on air, but privately, he was all over the president to see justice done in my case.
Anything else you want to say to the audience here, Roger?
I'm sorry I didn't make the party last night. I heard it was a little loud.
Yes, very loud, yes. Yes, there was a rooftop place for people, but maybe next time.
James,
Roger
I would
Stone.
say this. I'm grateful for your friendship, and I always will be.
Thank you, Roger. What is your price? Because if your price is not your life,